I should be writing number 415. It's from the car, but the car's not on.
Well, I should be riding. I should be working on my craft. I should be riding. I should be submitting my next draft. But I'm sitting home watching Doctor Who.
Hi there, welcome to I Should Be Writing, the podcast for wannabe fiction writers. I'm your host, Mer Lafferty, and I thought it would be quiet to record in the car, but either the windows have got to be up and I'll die, or the windows are down and we get all this ambient noise. So sorry about that, but the car's not on, so you don't have the audio of me driving. I am kind of annoyed. I'm in my massive left-hand splint right now. Last week, when we got back from Worldcon, because I'd missed some violin lessons, I went to an extra long violin lesson, and my technique was not very good, and I bent my wrist wrong, and I just thought, well, I'd strained it, so I, did nothing for a couple of days, and after 8 days, I was still in pain, so I went to the doctor. And they just basically said, it's overuse. Here, have a massive splint for 2 weeks. So I look like my wrist is broken, when really it's just, it hurts when I bend it. So I need to not bend it for a little while. This weekend was fun. It was, George Martin finally came up with his sorry, not sorry, non-apology thing about the Hugo Losers Party, which I haven't really talked about yet because it was a weird situation, because from my point of view, I was in the party on the second floor and had no idea what was going on downstairs when they dropped off a busload of people. The bus abandoned them there and nobody would let them into the party because they were at capacity. And Martin wrote 6,000 word explanation that included, I made a couple of mistakes, but also it's really hard to throw a big party. Also, any losers of the Hugo Award who think the Hugo Losers Party is for them are entitled. Also, anybody who's ever lost a Hugo is welcome to come to the party, which I have never been told. And the funny thing was, I was standing talking to John Scalzi when George came up and gave him a ribbon, and he gives out ribbons that say Hugo Loser, and an invite to the party to John. And I said, oh, I'm a Hugo Loser. Can I have a ribbon, please? And he handed me a ribbon. No invite. So by his own rules, I should have gotten an invite too, right? Anyway, I had a number of friends who were left outside in the cold and were not impressed with Martin's apology. Oh, and he never said I'm sorry. Those 2 words go an awful long way. They really do. But, he was trying to put himself up to be the victim of all the mean people outside tweeting in all caps about him, and parties are really hard to put on. And, it did not leave a good flavor in a lot of people's mouths. And it's sort of implied that there are an awful lot of rules to this party that everyone should know, but I think are only known by Martin and his cronies. Like, if you ever lose a Hugo, you're welcome to the party, even if I don't hand you an invitation. Or the people who get left out on the street, their anger is whining, while if a Hollywood fancy person comes up with 6+1s, they might get into a snit if they don't get them and all their friends in, and their anger is worthwhile, worthy of being worried about, that kind of thing. And he tried to whine that people needed, if you had to get tickets to the Hugos, and that's never been done before. And my husband pointed out, well, the people who were supposed to be at the Hugos, the nominees, already had a seat. They didn't need a ticket. And so, conceivably, the party afterwards was for them too, which they should have been able to get into. So, the idea that the Hugo Losers Party is not for the Hugo losers is kind of baffling. So, there's that fun fallout. Haven't gotten a lot of written this weekend, mostly because of my arm. And, holiday weekend, I don't have any deadlines, so I'm not going to be busting my butt every day writing. I'm really in I like to make notes about my plots, but a lot of times plot just kind of fall into place, like when I'm just thinking. So I'll plot a lot more when I'm driving than any time else. Dang it, there was something on Twitter I wanted to talk about, and now I can't remember what it was, and I don't have Twitter on my phone. Crud. Okay, I'll talk about that tomorrow. What I can talk about today is the fact that somebody emailed me and said, to follow up on the agent talk, what is an appropriate way to fire an agent? When do you pursue a new agent, before or after you fire your old one? Some agencies require a literal certified letter to fire them. Usually people will send an email as well, but that's the technical bits of how to. But how to do it, you stay professional. You say, if there are actual problems with your agent, you might want to get them solved beforehand, but just mainly, you don't think that your career is moving in a direction that the agent would benefit, or the agent would help you. Or you reach the end of your professional career with them, or always keep it professional, but it's not, essentially it's not going to work out. It's time for us to part ways or something. I have both fired agents and been fired by agents, and when they do it, it's like, I don't think I'm the best agent for you. When I fired my last agent, I essentially just asked her, are you excited about the work I'm doing now? And she said no. And I said, then I think I need to find an agent who is excited about the work I'm doing now. And that was it. I do joke that it's like a marriage, and it is in a lot of ways, but I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but I've never had, like, knockdown, drag out fights or upset people, probably because I didn't actually start selling anything until I was really with my current agent. So it's not like they were losing a cash cow or anybody. But where the whole marriage thing comes in is when you are looking for a new agent, because you definitely should not look for a new agent before your old agent is fired. It's just common courtesy. It's a small industry. Agents talk to each other. You want to stay professional all the way through. So you stay. And publishing moves so slowly that you'll probably be fine finding another agent before any big lightning strikes hit your career. And when you're courting a new agent, you say, I was previously with X person. We parted ways amicably because I felt I needed a new direction in my career, and I'm hoping you are the person who can lead me down that way. Just short, to the point. Point out that it was an amicable, business-like split. It was not bad or anything. The most important thing, as I said, is keep it professional, because they don't want to think that in 2 to 5 years you're going to be dumping them and going off to a new agent saying, this person screwed my career, they suck, and I hate them, and I really want a new agent. They don't want to think that you could treat them like that. So don't badmouth the old agent. You just say, I'm looking for new representation. That's all. So I guess that's everything. Thank you for the show topic, Chris. And I'll find the neat thing on Twitter that I wanted to write about, or wanted to talk about, and talk about it tomorrow. But if you want to contact me, mightymur@gmail.com, mightymur on Twitter, and the show and everything is at Merverse. So, good luck with everything. Get some work done. Try not to injure yourself, because you should be writing. Remember, you can support the show at patreon.com/MightyMur. I should be writing theme music provided by John Anelio. You can find more about him at johnanelio.com. This podcast is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution Share-alike license.
The fact that Doctor Who is on TV